Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this screening of Road to Peace. My name is Pema Fox, and I'm an Anglo-Tibetan. In May 2008, I was at Oxford at Rhodes House, where the British residents in Tibet before 1950 and their descendants were in an audience with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. When I met Leon, I asked him, "Tell me who you are. What is your name? What are you about? Why should I speak to you?" And he said he just wanted to discover what it was that was pulling him and calling him, was giving him that urge to make a difference. He resonated. He felt he was Tibetan inside. He felt he was somebody that really needed to get a message across. And as you will see, and as you will know, and as most of you will know who know Leon, he's been through fear, he's been through pain, he's been through joy, he's had challenges to get this exquisite piece of work out into the world. So in the birth of this film, Leon has been on a quest, a journey. His greatest desire is that he puts forward the message of His Holiness the Dalai Lama honestly, perfectly, and with integrity. It is said that we are all deeply connected. We weave in and out of each other's lives until a pattern is complete. Leon's pattern is one of exquisite essence, of joy, pureness, and beauty, which is in every single one of us.
Transparency for me is the most powerful thing that's ever came into my life, because when we have the ability to stand up and say who we really are, what we really think, what we really feel, and actually reveal ourselves completely, it's the most liberating thing that I've ever experienced. And I've tried many other ways to create liberation, most of them stimulants, and and now through just being able to communicate transparently and share yourself, wholeheartedly, I think that's the most beautiful gift.
And for me, that's really important with this film, is that it inspires dialogue and it gets people to talk about what the Dalai Lama's trying to say with the message, because I think it takes a lot of understanding. It seems clear and it seems simple, but how do you actually apply that into your lives? How do you take on board what he's saying and actually be it? Is where the work is, really, because it's not just about feeling in his presence. I mean, I feel that when I watch that film, I'm still vibrating from being with him. And I think last time we spoke, we were in a churchyard by a plaque that said "Peace is a state of mind." Now, for me, I've since that talk, I've come through a couple of satori's, a couple of awakenings, a couple of understandings that peace isn't a state of mind. I think our language has been restricted there. I think peace is actually a state of being. And it's a case of, we want to, Gandhi in the quote, be the change we want to see in the world. People want to be like the Dalai Lama. We want to live in a more peaceful world. So how do we get there? And I think it's very much how we are, how we be, is how we can start to create that.
But tell me a little bit about that being it obviously your bit is a filmmaker and making films and this journey that's taken us on, but tell us a little bit about the transformation and that being and how you're experiencing that being, how you're feeling that as that's evolving.
When I started making this film, I knew that Dalai Lama had an important message to share, but I didn't really know what it was. And the concept of universal responsibility was something that I didn't really understand at the beginning. Not to a point where I could talk about it passionately and say, this is, these are the details. And through making the film and now bringing the film into an audience, I've had to really learn what that means. And I was listening to Stephen Covey talking about responsibility in the car while I was driving, and he said responsibility is our ability to respond. That's what it means. So that got me thinking. I couldn't listen to any more of the speech that he was giving, and I realised that actually the responsibility being an ability to respond means that once we understand we have an ability to respond, we have a responsibility to be responsible. And once we understand we have a responsibility to be responsible, we've got no choice but to be responsible. There's choices we're faced with every minute of our life, and where there's choice, there's responsibility. So through that, you start to understand, okay, we have to embody this and take this forward. We have to get to a point where we have to be responsible. And that's really where it came to. And then the universal part of that, which is the most important part, is how we are with the planet, how we are with each other, how we are with everything in our being. So being responsible every minute of the day, but it's a redefinition or getting to the root of the word of responsibility. I would love this to get a distribution, I'd love this to get on television, but really what's important is that the integrity is kept. I've talked to television executives and commissioners about this project, and they turn around and go, oh yeah, it's very worthy, isn't it? And they're not going to show it. And then they in the next breath they say, it's got a large audience though, hasn't it? So what does that tell you about the state of television? What does that tell you about the state of where we're going as a society? When our biggest influence of media will look at someone like the Dalai Lama and say, yeah, it's a bit worthy, but we're not going to show it to the masses who are actually interested. As the Dalai Lama said, it's not about the one, it's about the many. So it's up to us. This is a node. This is a starting point to generate some of that passion to start taking it forward. And if you're passionate about it, tell all your friends about it. And then we can start to not share the film, but share the message.